Okay. This is like take 27 or something. I think I'm ready this time. I've got my coffee. I've got all my crap around me. My upstairs neighbors just left. I got 2 cats in here sleeping peacefully in the sun. Let's do this. Good morning, Flosstube friends. My name is Caitlin, and this is my little corner of the internet where I talk about my cross-stitching and sometimes my sewing, and oftentimes all the cross-stitching supplies I shop for. So today is Thursday, February 20th, 2020 to 2020. It's a good day to get married. I bet there's a lot of people getting married today with a date like that, right? Even though it's Thursday. Somebody out there is making their friends and family go to a Thursday wedding in like some rustic barn in New Hampshire in the cold because it's a good date. And power to them, right? So what has been going on? The last time I saw you guys was before the new year. I think right before the new year. It was like a few days before New Year's Eve. So since then we've had some friends come visit. We had a great time and a nice visit with them. Played a lot of really fun board games. We had a fantastic New Year's Eve. Then after New Year's, I went back to work for about 3 weeks. We finished up shooting the first season of a new show for ABC. It's called For Life. It's we're all wrapped now, and it's on air. It aired, it premiered a couple weeks ago. It airs Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. on ABC if you're in the States. And if you're in Canada, I believe it airs on Global. And if you're anywhere else, I don't know. Hulu, probably. I don't have cable, so I haven't seen it yet. But my mom saw it, and she said it was good, so it's got the mom stamp of approval. So if you're interested, check that out. What else? Hi, Elle. So I've been off for like a week and a half. Last week we took a long weekend, and because it was President's Day, so Dylan didn't have to work on Monday, so we went to DC for the long weekend and for Valentine's Day. We had a really nice time. I'd never been there before, and we saw a lot of things. We saw like most of the Smithsonian museums. We did a lot of walking. And it was just a blast. If you've never been, I highly recommend it. It's a super walkable city. We stayed at a... cat just knocked the camera. Watch out, buddy. Luckily, right before we went, I happened to catch Ingeborg's Flosstube video where she talked about her trip to DC. And, yeah, sit there. She talked about her trip to DC, and she mentioned that she had gone to the DAR, the Daughters of the American Revolution Museum. And I would have completely overlooked that place if she hadn't mentioned it, so I'm so glad she did. If you're ever in DC, like, please check it out. So it's a very small museum. You can totally see everything in a couple of hours. It has a lot of period rooms, mostly set in like the 1800s, which are fun to look at. But the coolest part of the museum, in my opinion, is when you first walk in, there's a little room kind of right to your right when you first walk in. And in that room are all these drawers and cabinets. And in those drawers and cabinets are artifacts from their collection. And they rotate the artifacts kind of regularly, apparently. So they change, but they each artifact will have a little number next to it, and then you can go to a computer in that room and look up the number, and it will tell you all the information about that artifact. And the best part for stitchers is, at least when I was there, they had a couple quilts, and then they had 4 drawers full of antique samplers done by little girls. I went totally gaga over them. They just have an incredible collection of samplers there, and you know, you can pull the drawer open and there's glass between you and the sampler, but you can get pretty close. You can put your nose up to the glass and get really close and see those stitches super up close. They're beautiful. And I think if you can never make it to that museum, I'm pretty sure you can view their whole sampler collection online. So I will link their website below. I just had so much fun looking at the samplers. So I think that's everything in terms of life updates. Oh, the elephant in the room, the shirt. Okay, so for Christmas, my friend Tiffany gave me this sweater. She found it at a thrift store and paid like a couple bucks for it. I screamed when she gave it to me. I screamed when I opened it. It's so cool. So it says, "I'd rather be stitching," and it's freaking cross-stitched. Somebody cross-stitched this on a sweatshirt. I love it. I screamed when I opened it, for real. And not just because I'd had a couple glasses of wine. It was probably the best Christmas gift I got. No offense to my husband. Okay, so that's it for life stuff. So let's talk finishes. So first up, FFOs. One of my goals for the year is to FFO everything. I'm not doing so well. So far I've FFO'd one thing, but I'm pretty proud of it. So it's got cat hair on it already. I turned my Oh Dear project that I finished last year into this pillow. And I am pretty happy with how it turned out. I probably measured wrong, or the tutorial directions, like measurements were wrong because the pillow form doesn't fit it exactly, like the corners aren't stuffed properly. But the stitching is straight on the pillow, and this line here is like pretty straight next to the stitching, which is always hard. And I pieced it together on my own. I didn't use a pattern or anything, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So it's like an envelope style on the back, so I can wash it if I need to. And I like this little detail I did on the bottom, which was mostly accidental, but I don't know. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So I do have a couple finishes to show you. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little frustrated because I feel like I've done a lot of stitching this year already, but a lot of that has been on my larger projects. So I've put in like several thousand stitches already this year, but it doesn't feel like I've made any progress on anything because I'm just not getting finishes as fast as I would like to. But I have to keep reminding myself that that's because these are big projects and it's going to take several thousand more stitches to finish them. Hopefully when I do the edit and I see the before and after, I'll feel better, because I know I've put a lot of work into some of the whips I'm going to show you. But first I'll show you the things I did finish. So my last finish of 2019, I finished this New Year's Eve, I think, in the morning. While we had company, but they slept in and I had a little bit of time to finish this up. So I got it done right before the new year. I'll insert a picture here of where you saw it last time. This is Little House Needleworks One More Stitch. I'm so happy with how this turned out. I stitched this 2/2 on Color and Cotton Jobelin in the colorway Sampler Gold. I think it's a 32 count. And I used threads from a Dinky Dyes Oops pack. So if you want to know the color names, they're in my Mania video, but you could also comment below and I can try and figure them out for you, but they're from an Oops pack, so they might not be like correct. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Now I've got to finish it. Gotta fully finish it, I mean. My first finish of 2020, I finished my travel project. I started this in Mania last year. This is Fragments in Time 2017. I can't remember the name of the design. I think it just might be Fragments in Time 2017, but it's the one with the deer. So I also converted all these colors. I did not write down the conversion though. I totally meant to. I put a spot for it in my stitching journal. I wrote like conversion, : and then never filled in the information. So, but anyway, I'm pretty sure these are all the DMC equivalents for the called for gas colors, with the exception of this light gray color here in the antlers and around the flower stem, and that is DMC winter, not DMC, Color and Cotton Winter Garden. It's down here as well. Winter Garden. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So I finished that. My last two finishes, I don't know if you could really call them finishes because this whip isn't finished, but I'm counting each of the women in this project as its own year of whip because I'm a dirty cheater. I'm not a cheater. I am using the loopholes in the system to my advantage, just like Bloomberg. In any case, so I've finished on Fabulous Women in History. You've all seen it. You all know what it looks like. I'll put a picture in here of where you saw it last time. And then, so this is where I'm at now. Oops. So, as you can see, I finished Amelia Earhart. I did her as charted. I started Frida over there, but then decided instead of finishing Frida to come up here. I was just getting paranoid that I was gonna be like off somewhere, so I wanted to make sure the blocks above were lining up with the blocks below. So I came over here and I finished Cleopatra yesterday. So as you can see, I replaced the weird midget Mark Anthony with this slightly demonic looking cat. So that's Cleopatra. So technically I finished 3 year of whips so far this year, which is pretty good. I need to finish 2 a month to complete the challenge. I would like to be further ahead than that. I would really like to finish 2 of those women a month in order to finish the project by the end of the year. So I have to finish 2 more in February to be caught up on that goal. Let's talk whips. So, in no particular order, I'm just going to show you the things I worked on since I saw you last time. So first up is Mirabilia's Deco Spirits. This is a picture of what it will look like finished. I'm doing this as a stitch along with Angela stitches. This is my first Mirabilia. I'm really enjoying it. It's not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. I kind of imagined them all to be like, maybe this is just an easier one because there's no beads. I don't know. I mean, I'm really enjoying it. All the little blocks are full coverage, which is great because I've been using it for the full coverage fanatics challenge for doing like 20,000 stitches in 2020. I think so far I've done about 2,000 stitches. I will insert a picture here of where it was the last time you saw it. And then this is where I'm at now, still on the scroll frame. So I've got a lot done on the earth block. I've got maybe like 600 stitches left in that block to complete it, and I started the back stitching on her face because I needed to work on a face for a Magical Stitches challenge. And I started, and then I needed like a certain number of 310 stitches, so I started the next block, which is the fire block. So I've got a lot done, but I still have a long way to go. This is, I'm doing WhipGo this year, the event that Jessie Marie is putting on, and so I kind of broke up some of my larger whips into yearly goals like she does. I think that will be helpful. So my goal for this project for the year is to complete Earth and to complete Fire. So it's on my WhipGo board twice, once for Earth, one for Fire. They both got called the month of January. So I obviously haven't completed either block yet, but that's okay. I have the whole year to do it, and I think if I try and put like at least 1,000 stitches into it every month, I think that should be doable. So I'll show it one more time because I'm super in love with this. So sparkly. I'm stitching this 2/2 on I think 28 count white even weave from Zweigart. The only adjustment I made was I swapped, it called for DMC metallics for the gold, and I changed that to Kreinik. There's that. Okay. All right, my next whip is Merry Christmas Santa by Mill Hill. I also started this in Mania. I will insert a picture here of where you saw it last time. And then here it is now. Does that help? A little bit. So I've got a lot done on this since the last time you saw it. This is pretty close to being finished. I still have to stitch all along the bottom here. I have to finish the cat and the present. There's back stitching that has to be done in here. There's a bag that has to be filled in, and then his beard has to go on, and then all the beads. So I call it like halfway done at this point. It's probably the thing I have closest to being finished. So I'm probably gonna pull it out again in a couple of days and see if I can get it done. Okay, the next whip I have, so my Whip Go project that got called for this month were, so the next whip I have, the Whip Go projects that got called for the month of February were Turn Turn. My goal for the year for that is to complete it, and Afternoon in New York, which I haven't worked on, so I'm not going to show you. So I only pulled this out for a little bit last night. I'm going to try and get a few hundred stitches into it for Magical Stitches today, I think, or this week. So this is Turn Turn. Here, I'll show you a picture of what it's supposed to look like. So this is a class I took with Debbie, Stitch the Stash, and Broadway Stitcher, Carmen. Broadway, the Carmen Stitcher. Carmen, the Broadway Stitcher. From Noteworthy Needle. It's called Turn Turn. It's this little pillow that you can turn to change the seasons. So it doesn't really look like anything right now because it doesn't look like anything till it's assembled, but I'll insert a picture of where you saw it last time. And then this is where I'm at now. So I've really only done like 30 something stitches in here. But I'm more than halfway complete on this because I finished the first page and started on the second page. So I can definitely finish this by the end of the year. You know, possibly if I work on it, I could finish it by the end of the month if this is the only thing I work on. I don't know. I'm really finding that my threshold for getting bored with a project seems to be somewhere between like 500 to 1,000 stitches, depending on like how many color changes there are. Usually by the time I hit the like 1,000 stitch mark, I'm over working on that project. I'm like kind of burnt out on it. So I'm trying to change up projects like every 500 to 700 stitches. Like regardless of how long it takes, even if it takes me all week to hit 500 stitches, once I hit the like 500-ish stitch mark, unless I really need to finish more for Magical Stitches, I will try and force myself to swap out, because at the beginning of the year I was just trying to like stitch as much as possible, basically monogamously on Deco Spirits, and then I got burned out on it and didn't want to pick it up for like 3 weeks. So I'm just trying to be mindful of that. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. I mean, you guys tell me, how often do you switch projects? Especially people, I'm especially interested right now in people who maybe like have a lot more stitching time than others. Like maybe if you don't work and are home, or like work from home and are home a lot and then have a lot of stitching time every day, how often do you switch projects? Because during the week, if I'm working, I don't usually get burnt out on a project because I can only get a few stitches in a day. Like sometimes I can only get like 20 stitches in at all that day. But when I'm off for several days at a time, I'll try and like work monogamously on something and then find myself getting burnt out. So like, do you switch every couple hours? I know it's different for every person, but if you have any suggestions or want to tell me what your routine is or your rotation or whatever you do, put it below, because I'm constantly trying to figure out how to work on everything at the same time. Okay. The next thing I have to show you is a new start. So when I finished Fragments in Time, I needed a new travel project. So I got this off the freebie table at the Flosstube retreat in, was it August? In August. I got this off the table in the freebie table. And I've kind of been dying to start it ever since. I don't know why. Just something about the colors really, really got me. So this is a pomegranate study by Needlework Press. And that is what the model looks like. So in the Harry Potter exchange, my partner gave me a piece of, excuse me. For the Harry Potter exchange I did last year, my partner gave me a piece of Cyprium by Picture This Plus. And I really wanted to use that for this design. When I started pulling floss, I was like, that's the best fabric. The piece she gave me was too small, so I ordered a larger piece, and I'm so glad I did. So I'll show you what I have done so far. I've got quite a lot accomplished on this so far. It's showing up pretty true to color-ish. It's a little bit brighter in person than is showing up here. So this is 28 count Cyprium linen, and I am stitching this with, I'm using all color and cottons. So that's not true. I'm using 2 color and cottons and a Threadworks. It's only 3 colors, so this is a really great travel project. So let me see. The color and cottons I'm using Laurel, is this green color. I think it's from her Christmas box last year in 2018 or 2018 Christmas box. The red I'm using is Hollyberry from Color and Cotton. My threads are a mess right now. It's this beautiful red color. Also from the Christmas box. And then I'm using Threadworks number 1105 for the yellow, which is, it's got like green and orange in it. It's really pretty. So I'm really, really loving the way these colors are looking on this fabric. This is, it's an easy travel project because I can do it in hand. It's an easy travel project because it's only 3 colors, and the motifs are like kind of repetitive, so it's easy counting. So yeah, so I've got a solid, like, I don't know, 1/6 of the design done. My goal for this project for the year is to finish it, and I think that's doable. I haven't worked on it recently because I haven't really been traveling around that much. Like I haven't been at work, so I don't need a lunchtime stitching project, but I'm gonna pull that out again soon. And then my last whip I have to show you is a sampler story by Brenda Keyes. I started this for Mania last year. That's a picture of what it will look like finished. So my goal for this for the year is to complete 8 blocks. There's 24 blocks total, so that's a pretty good chunk of it. I will insert a picture here of where it was when you saw it last time. And then this is where it's at now. So I finished this bird block up here. I have nearly finished the block below it, a man and his dog, but I'm missing a color. The color for his head, I can't find it anywhere. So I'm going to have to buy another one. So I just need to put his head on him, and then that block will be complete. And then I started this block up here with these two headless people and their dog. Maybe I'll just leave them headless. So these blocks look small, like, because they're not full coverage, but there's well over 1,000 stitches in each of these blocks because I use this for a yearly challenge. I use this for the Cinderella's Castle and like several other challenges already. I've put a lot of stitches into it and it feels like I've gotten nothing done. But slow and steady with this one. This is being stitched on, this is a Zweigart printed fabric. It's one of the vintage ones. It's like the vintage smoky white, I think. It's printed on this side very slightly. So that's it for whips. I mean, that's a lot of different projects. I've definitely made some progress on a lot of things. Hopefully the next time I see you, I will have a couple finishes. I just really want to whip down this year. I'm feeling frustrated. I can never find any of the threads I need because they're in like several different projects. I feel overwhelmed. I really just want to like reduce the amount of stuff I have, but I don't want to give anything away because I love it all, so that means I have to finish it. It's stressing me out. My hobby is stressing me out. Okay, let's see. Let's talk purchases. Okay, so I needed to order some Krynic for my Deco Spirits because I was running low and I didn't want to like run out midway through working on a challenge because that would be frustrating. So you can't just order like 2 spools of Krynic from 123. You have to order more than that, right? So I decided to order a chart. I don't know how this came up in like suggested charts for you or something. It's super cute. So it's Madame Chantilly. Maybe the back picture is a little bit better because it's a little bit bigger. So it's this little mouse in a teacup surrounded by spools of thread. How freaking cute is that? It doesn't use that many DMC colors. It's only 89 by 67. It's called Il Sarto di Gloucester, which I think probably translates to a mouse, the mouse of Gloucester, or the Tailor of Gloucester. Isn't that one of the? Isn't there like a Beatrix Potter story about the Tailor of Gloucester, which is a little mouse? That's probably it. Anyway, this is adorable. Came up and recommended for you. It was only a couple bucks, so I got it. And of course, you can't, I think it was Jessie Marie who was like, you can't order Krynic and a chart and just send those together because the Krynic spool will get crushed into the chart in transit and will damage the chart. So if you're going to order Krynic and a chart, you should also order fabric. I mean, that's very logical. So I did. So I just ordered a couple pieces of, I ordered a piece of 28 count mushroom, and a piece of 28 count bone. I think I ordered this for these as options for the needles and pin sampler. I think I just like 28 count fabric the best, and I like even weave. You know, like linen is pretty. I just like even weave, and I like 28 count, and I have so much hand dyed stuff now. I'm kind of feeling like getting back to more of the solid colors lately. So I ordered those. I also received some Christmas gifts. I received my friend Jessica, who visited me, who I did the cheese sampler for. She got me a couple charts off my 123 list. So she got me Flag Day by Ink Circles. So now I have the New York one, the Canadian one, and the American one, and I would love to do them as a trio together. Would love to start those this year. She also got me this, the Starburst Flag of Canada by Cherry Lane. This is really cool. All specialty stitches. I love that. It'd be fun to do that in silk. Probably calls for silk, honestly. I love that. And then she also got me Needles and Pins by Theron Traditions. And if you'll recall, before she gifted me this, I actually bought this chart for myself. So now I've got 2 copies of this chart. What do you do when you have 2 copies of a chart? You find somebody to give it to stitch it with you. So if you are interested in stitching this chart and would like to stitch it along, hopefully with me, comment below. What should you say? You should say, tell me what you and your sweetheart, your special person, whoever that might be, whether it be like, you know, a romantic partner or a kid or a best friend or your pet, tell me what you and somebody special to you did to celebrate Valentine's Day or to not celebrate Valentine's Day. What did you guys do around Valentine's Day? Because Valentine's Day isn't just for romantic partners, it's for loving all the people in your life. So yeah, so comment below and we'll stitch it together. Yeah, so this is the next thing I'm going to start, I'm pretty sure, because it's a small, so I should get it done pretty quickly. And then last but not least, you know, with all the fires going on in Australia, a lot of designers were doing charities, and there's a lot of cute charts out there, and a lot of things going on. I straight up just donated money for the most part, but Hands Across the Sea released this chart as a fundraiser for some fire brigades in Australia, and it's a really pretty chart. It's not that big, so I bought it. It was only $10. This Jane Marshall. It's really pretty. I'm going to do it in some DMC. When I finish the pomegranate sampler, I think this will be my next travel project that I'll start, because I think if I do it in DMC, it would be pretty travel friendly. It's not that many colors. It's, let's see, what is it? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11 colors, but it's all just cross stitch. So that is everything I purchased. That is everything I purchased. I don't really have any sewing to show you. I haven't been sewing as much as I should. I've had a lot of fails. Hopefully next time I see you, I'll have like some project bags. Project bags are like the next project I'm gonna work on. I was gonna talk about books. I don't normally talk about books, but I've already read like 10 books this year, and I have a lot of opinions and a lot of things I want to say about those books. But cats are getting like super restless and pacing around a lot of like, I want in, I want out, I want to knock over the camera. I'm not sure what I want. Hi, buddy. And my upstairs neighbors are back, and they're making a lot of noise, and my butt is sore from sitting on the floor. So I think I'm just going to wrap it up. I hope you guys are all having a great winter. Hopefully spring should be here soon. And hopefully the next time I see you guys, I will have more finishes to show you, and I'll have more sewing, and I don't know. Hopefully I can get some stuff done in the next week and a half. So I'll have lots to show you when I see you in March. So in any case, I hope you guys are getting all your stitchy goals accomplished, and thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you all soon. Bye.